Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here for day 3 of Artwitchaugust. The challenge today is complementary colors. Those are colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. And you guys, the prompt is magical tools. So we're making a magical tool, and I thought it would be really cute to make some little cauldron pockets. So that's what we're making, little tiny cauldron pockets. Because who doesn't love a good cauldron? Or a pocket. So if you remember from my color theory video or from any color theory class you've ever taken, complementary colors, when you mix them together, will in fact turn brown. They'll turn some sort of grungy, dusty, gross color brown. It's not always gross, it depends on the shades that you're using, but like, it's gross brown. It's how you make mud. If you've ever heard like an artist say that they're making mud, that's how you do it. You do it by mixing up complementary colors. Now, that's to say you shouldn't be afraid of complementary colors because you can get some pretty cool effects. Like this yellow-purple combo, I really love mixing yellow and purple together. I like the color brown that yellow and purple make together. So I enjoy it. And what I'm doing here is trying to use up stuff in my stash that I just haven't been playing with or using, and it's just been sitting there. So I'm using some of these like fluidy, watery colored acrylic fabric paint things that I got in a palette full pack box. They've just been sitting there. They needed to get used. I was like, here we go. You can achieve this same effect by watering down acrylic paint. You'll get a very similar effect. And I'm also using a matte photo paper. Does that matter? No. It doesn't actually matter. The only thing that like makes this matte photo paper special is that I got it for 50 cents at the art reuse. No, I'm kidding. The thing that makes it special is that it is photo paper, so it's meant to absorb a lot of ink. So, depending on whether or not you apply your color with water down first or straight onto the paper will determine the effect you get. If you do not have any water on the paper first, it will soak up all the color that you put on top of it first, and you'll be left with all those little dots and splotches left behind. If there's water on the paper first, then it'll sort of spread out and be more of a watercolory effect. That is the only difference the photo paper makes in this entire project. Otherwise, you could just use regular cardstock or watercolor paper to achieve the same effect. And here, I'm just basically cutting out this little template I made of a little tiny, very circular cauldron, which I regret in the cutting out process, but don't regret in the making process. It's a very cute shape. But I wanted to show you guys the stuff that I used to make it. It's all stuff you have available. It's circles. You just need a bunch of different size circles, and you too can make your own cauldron. So don't feel intimidated if you don't think you're very good at drawing. You definitely can trace a circle. And it's just a matter of putting the circles in the right spot. And that's a little bit of trial and error, but I know that you can do it. So it's definitely possible to do. And here I'm just going over, tracing out everything so I can cut out a bunch of these little cauldron-y pockets. I only did one of each set because I didn't want to be there all day, making stuff for this. But you definitely could use, you could probably get a sheet out of these, and they were 5x7, so I probably could have got 2 cauldrons per page. I just saved the scraps to use for a different project, and just cut out sort of my favorite areas on here. And you'll notice that one of these cards is not like the other, because one of these cards is not actually complementary. That was sort of an experiment, because technically teal and like magenta-ish red are complementary to each other on the color wheel, but I didn't have the right shades. My teal was more of a blue than a blue-green, so yeah, it didn't have the right shade. So when I mixed them together, I didn't really think they were gonna be perfect complements, but they're close complements, so it still ended up in this video because I wanted to make 4 of these. Here we are. And those were the color choices I had available since I was using those liquidy acrylic, not acrylic, I don't know what they're called. Those watered down paints. And then I decided that I wanted my cauldrons to have sort of a sketchy, artsy sort of look to them. I want to be a little cartoony looking. So I just went over with a Posca pen and I think a marker, Posca pen. I went around the edges to outline them to give them a nice, like, heavy outline. And then I'm just going to go through and add in some, like, scribbly, sketchy bits to sort of define the shape a little bit, so that you can see, like, where the surface is, where the rounded parts are, like, really make those stand out so it looks a little bit more cartoony, just so that they sort of pop a little bit without having to, like, overdraw all the details. And I tried to keep things, like, really simple here so that it could be easily replicated. So if you guys are crafting along with me, the shapes, the drawing, all of this stuff, very straightforward so that you guys can pick this up too and try it out yourselves. Because I don't want anyone to be intimidated because they feel like they can't draw. You don't have to be able to draw. You just have to be able to follow the line you already made by tracing a circle. So you can definitely do that. And I have confidence in your ability to make straight lines and scribbly lines. Those are definitely things we can all do. So hopefully you guys find this as accessible as I'm trying to make it. And after I go through and add in the sketchy sort of bits, I'm going back through with a white Posca pen to add in some highlights, just to sort of double down on that cartoonish aspect, but also just pick up some details so you can see, again, redefining the shape, where hypothetical light might actually hit it. And to just sort of add to sort of the cartoonish, pop artish nature of these little cauldrons. And I really love how they came out. I think they're really cute. I think the drawing adds to it a lot. And then what I'm going to do is destroy my template in order to make the card that's going to go inside of this pocket. So I have the little top, which is like the bubbling over bits of the cauldron. And I'm going to cut out this sort of cupcake shape card template so that I know how big of a card will fit inside the pocket, while also being mindful of the fact that the pocket has to get glued down at some point, so those edges need to be clear, so that the card will fit inside the pocket, which is a little bit fiddly, but it kind of works. It'll definitely be really cute once it's in use. And so what I'm doing now is just cutting out my card template so that I can make a couple of these insert cards, and we'll add another, like, a fun dimension to these cards by foiling them, because I wasn't doing enough already. So I decided I would go and get these, like, little, like, foils. I got them on Amazon. They're really cheap, and I just wanted to try them out. I would not recommend them to anybody. They were a mess. You'll see it as we're going. They were absolutely a mess. They're not very good quality foils, hence why they were so cheap, but they were fun to play with. The color scheme is very fun, and I do like the overall effect at the end there, but I wouldn't recommend these. These were such a mess. They were more messy than my regular flakes, which is impressive because I thought that was as messy as it could get. But what I did was just apply I'm using the Cosmic Shimmer Flake and Glitter Glue, which is just a glue that dries down and is still tacky. Tombow makes one. It's the Tombow Mono Liquid Adhesive. It's the one with the green lid. There's a Tombow one with green lid, and I believe it's called Mono. And then who else makes them? Any company that does foiling makes a foiling glue, but you want a glue that's still going to be tacky once it dries. That's the glue you're looking for if you want to do something similar. And then I decided to go back, trace out some extra shapes so I could have a front set of bubbles and a back set of bubbles. This way I could use the two complementary colors together. And this is a multi-step process because of course it is. I'm making it, so it has to be complicated. But it is really fun. Like, look how fun this is. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to apply the glue to the bubbles that are in the front. And then just be mindful of anywhere you've traced, you have to make sure that your glue covers that line or it will still be there after you foil everything. And then once you get all your foil down, you then apply the glue to the back set of bubbles so that it can dry down while you're working on the other things. And then you can come back and apply your second color. And I'm just using a paintbrush for it, and it worked out really well. Just make sure that you wash your paintbrush or keep it in water while you're working because this glue dries fast, and it'll ruin your paintbrush if you do not immediately get it into water. And I tried a couple different layouts. I tried one where the bubbles are sort of creeping in from one side, and this one where the bubbles are like literally in the forefront, so the whole line in the front is covered. I will say, since I use these flakes, and they're very, very cheap, so they got everywhere. When you're working with these like flakes, especially if you're using this kind, they immediately became like airborne. So I ended up having to put on my respirator just to keep myself from inhaling gold flakes, and I'm still finding them everywhere. Everywhere. Even though I like tried to clean up as best as I could, they exist all over the place. They're almost like craft glitter. They're a disease that has spread throughout my craft space. I will be finding them until I move out, and probably even afterwards. So yeah, that's why I can't recommend these ones, because whoo, they went up like dust. They went up like dust. But I will say, even though I hate these with a passion, they came out really cute. Everything came out really cute. I literally love how the bubbles came out. I'm happy that I have these complementary colored bubbles. I think it's really fun, but I would not recommend. But look how cute they are. Isn't that perfect? I think they're great. And I love that the bubbles are like in a similar colorway, but a little bit different. So they also sort of contrast with the actual contrasting pocket. Really nice, really fun. I love this craft. Definitely come back tomorrow and see what we do for day 4. Until next time, guys, I appreciate your faces. Happy crafting. Bye.